does New Holland stand on this whole sustainability question? What does sustainability even mean for New Holland?
Thanks. And I think that's been a complicated question for a lot of people because sustainably is used interchangeably and synonymously with a lot of different things. So for us as an equipment company, what's been on our radar are three essential categories on how we interpret sustainability and are looking at our business. The first is precision agriculture, looking at precisely how you're applying inputs, labor, and your machinery to get work done. Second is we do have a vision at New Holland for an energy independent farm. So when we talk about what sustainability looks like from a alternative fuels or propulsion standpoint, that's certainly part of it. And we're also looking toward how an entire farm system can be independent to lend to the sustainable category. And then lastly, really the hot topic, and I shouldn't even say lately because this has been around the ag industry for a number of years, is around carbon capture as well. It's certainly heated up in the US. I think the same in Canada with government regulators looking at that. And so I think that gets used interchangeably with sustainability as well and something we monitor.
You know, farmers are early adopters of new technology. We've done it with precision ag, GPS, guidance, you name it. Another interesting thing is possibly alternative propulsion or autonomy or something along those lines. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Sure, and I think on both fronts, whether we talk about precision technology and, as I shared, the alternative propulsion, we're really focusing in on both of those topics. So to talk a little bit about alternative propulsion, because I think that right now we see in the automotive space a lot of discussion about this with electric vehicles, right? So what does it mean for agriculture at this moment? And from the New Holland standpoint, we've got a couple of things. One in particular that's very close to market, and that we're going to be talking a lot about as we round out this year and really go to start full production on them in late next year, and that is methane-powered vehicles. And so we're coming out first with our methane tractor that is around 120 PTO horse, 180 engine horsepower methane tractor that starts to put together the link in the chain of what alternative propulsion could look like and what our vision toward an energy independent farm could look like. Meaning that in a perfect scenario, a farm that would have an on-farm digester would be able to create the fuel for their methane tractor. And so certainly in a livestock operation, livestock dairy operation, there's value that can be created there toward the energy independent farm. As we look at other items that New Holland has talked about or released, we have a minority investment in some electric propulsion companies as we start to look at how electric could be a part of ag equipment moving forward. So I think expect to hear more of that as we've maximized diesel technology. I mean, government regulation, I think in North America has pushed diesel technology to just about as far as it can go from an emissions standpoint. So the next move for us is exactly what I just shared. What other fuels are out there that could be economical for farmers that may be available on the farm today or could be generated on the farm today to save input cost to improve bottom line as well.
So Mark, the methane powered tractor, that's very intriguing. And I see a great fit for a livestock farmer. However, in Western Canada, across the prairies, most of the farms are grain farmers, and you have cow-calf operations, so their livestock is out in pasture. How would a methane powered tractor fit that scenario?
Yeah, that's a good question because, certainly it's easier to plug in when you've got confined livestock for a methane digester. But the other benefit that we have as we look at methane is from a cost standpoint on fuel, where diesel is positioned today versus starting to look at, let's call it sustainably produced or renewably produced methane, or CNG, compressed natural gas, that of course exists today. The tractor also runs on that fuel model as well. But as we look at methane, we see about a 30% savings versus the price position of diesel today. And we know the trajectory that diesel price will normally take. So I think that as we move forward, we've started to, although we're not ready to make an announcement today, work very closely with fueling partners for what the fueling scenario would look like on the farm. Fuel pod delivery to the farm from local dealers in order to, number one, be able to fuel the product, and number two, do that in a way that has a significant fuel savings to producers versus traditional diesel. So Gunter, obviously we're, as an ag company, are invested in precision and how we help farmers improve their bottom line to show ROI, and precision technology has been a part of that. But what does that mean for your operation, and how has precision technology been impactful for you?
It's impacted our farm in a major way. We were early adopters with GPS technology, and then auto steer, and we went from your regular WAS signal auto steer to RTK, and we see a direct benefit back to our pocketbook. There's no more overlap. There's no more skips, and then the next step that we've taken on our farm was combine optimization. And it's relatively new technology, but it's working so well. I can have you, for example, as an office jockey, I can get you out to my farm onto one of our combines. I give you, no word of a lie, a 10-minute tutorial, and you will run that combine at maximum capacity with very little loss, no overlap. And all you basically have to do is turn the combine at the end of the row and then press a button, and you just sit back and monitor a little bit. But the combine actually, and the combine brain, takes care of everything. And I think most manufacturers are on that, down that path already. So that's been a huge impact on our labor force, or lack of labor force. And I like the way automation is going that way.
Yeah, and I agree with you, because it is not only related to precision, but sustainability, because when I'm able to ensure that whomever I can put behind the wheel is able to run that machine as efficiently as possible, I've got less fuel input going into it. I know that the machinery investment is being as efficient as it possibly can be. In this case, talking about combines to harvest. And I'll agree with you, even a guy like me that sits at a desk more than he would like would be able to get back out on the farm and do that pretty well. I haven't been running combines near enough in the past few years. So, I think it's definitely related to this sustainability journey, because we the same as you on the farm, want to make sure that if you buy a piece of machinery, you can see ROI, and it's going to be easy for you to find somebody to operate that. Because the reality is we've got a very small labor pool in general, but even smaller labor pool that is experienced with agricultural machinery that we can pull from. And I think that's a broad North American problem that we'll continue to struggle with as we're trying to harvest and do more on the farm to meet the demand we need for food and fiber. Gunter, talking about precision, and I agree that it's been impactful for your business, but also wanted to shift to your impression of how you've been able to use precision technology or other principles to manage inputs on the farm as well, to make sure things are being applied at the right place and right time to manage your environment. How's that worked for you?
Well, again, back to when we started using guidance, GPS, auto steer, and now down to RTK sub-inch auto steer. So you're not overlapping, you're not skipping. So there's already input reduction right there. And inputs have skyrocketed in the last 12 months. I mean, some of our fertilizers that we are purchasing or trying to purchase now for next year have almost doubled in price, which is, that's incredible. And word is that they're not going to back down again from those prices. So the last thing we want to do is over apply. We also don't want to under apply, because if we don't have, if we can't get maximum return from what we plant out in the field, we're leaving money on the table. So we want a sustainable, let's call it that, sustainable supply of inputs to maximize our returns. And we do it through GPS technology. We also do it through scientific methodology. In other words, using the 4R principle of nutrient management, right rate at the right time, right product, and right location. So these all play towards sustainability at the farm level. And it's very important, especially with today's input prices, that we get it right.
And I think too, whether we're on the plains or the prairie or where I'm sitting in the northeastern U.S., we have similar goals not to over apply. And I think that's what relates to sustainability and the message that we want to share with the public and consumers. Not only do we have economic benefit for not over applying, but we've got environmental benefit too, that I think farmers do a really good job of making sure they're not applying something that is running off and creating fringe benefits, because you paid money for that, a lot more in the past 12 months than what you've done previously, number one. But then number two, you plan to live and work on that farm for a good long time and with your family. And so you're invested to make sure that that's done sustainably as well. And I agree. I think that's where sustainability fits in the conversation.
Thanks, Mark, for letting us know what sustainability means to New Holland and what sustainability means to me personally. We're a family farm. There's no other off-farm income supporting our families. My wife, one of our daughters, a couple of nieces, my brother-in-law, and his wife, we all farm. That's what we do. That's where we make money. That's how we live. And it's very, sustainability is very important to us, and it means a lot to us. Our kids want to take over the farm, and we have to operate it in a sustainable way. And I think we're doing a great job. The industry is right there with us. I think it's a win-win situation here.
Well, thank you, Gunter, because it's always energizing for me, and I love working in the agricultural industry because we have the opportunity to support family businesses that want to be sustainable and want to have a business that's able to be passed on within the family into the next generation. I think that's very unique and really refreshing in agriculture. You know, we're a company that just celebrated our 125th anniversary last year. Quite a historic year to, I guess, celebrate a big anniversary. But as we want to be around for the next 125, that's why this topic is important to us, because we need to provide solutions that will enable farms to be around for the long term as well, and to pass it on to the next generation. So I think it fundamentally it means the same to us, and that's at the root of any sustainability conversation we have. And a pleasure to talk to you today.
Congratulations, Mark and New Holland, on the 125th anniversary last year. Incidentally, the Western Canadian Wheat Growers Association celebrated their 50th anniversary last year as well. It looks like both our organizations are very sustainable. Farmers are interested in having a good voice at the table with government, and we also need good industry to back us and help us farm sustainably.